everyone. We're back so that I can share my labour story. So you've heard Nasra's one. She had a natural vaginal birth. With me, it was slightly different. So let's get into it. Okay, so it all started at my usual routine midwife appointment, yeah? Mm-hmm. I remember it was on a Friday, right? Bear in mind, on the Monday, the following Monday, I would have been 37 weeks on the dot, yeah? So I was at the end of my, was pretty much at the end of my pregnancy. I go to my routine midwife appointment and she does the usual. She checked my blood pressure, she did a urine sample, blood test, she checked the baby's heart rate, all the usual routine stuff. But when she checked my blood pressure, she noticed it was a little bit too high.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And she was like, yeah, it's a little bit high, little Irish woman, really lovely. And she was like, okay, let's check your urine sample. So I went, peed in the little thing, came back, and while you're sitting there, they'll check your urine, okay? So she was swabbing it, right? And then she was like, seems like there's a lot of protein in there. And I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it. You know them ones? I'm just sitting there like, okay. She's like, I'll just check your blood. So she checked my blood and everything, and she took it out and stuff, and she was like, I'm going to send this off to the lab. But she was like, if you could do me one favour and try to pee again for me. And I was like, how come? Like, is that not enough? And she was like, no, I just want to send 2 samples to the lab just to be sure that there's protein in your urine. Okay. So I don't want to alarm you, but you know, I just want 2 samples. So if you can. I was like, okay. I was like, can you give me like 10, 15 minutes? I just peed.
Drink better water.
I promise you I won't be able to like just pee again. So I was just chilling there. She gave me like a cup of water. We were just talking about life a little bit. And then I went back to the toilet to try again. And alhamdulillah, I was able to pee again, right? And I was like, thank you. Because I knew something was up. So I thought, I need to produce a pee ASAP. You know them ones. So I went back and I was like, I got it. I got the pee. So she was like, okay, I'm going to send it off to the lab. And basically, I will reach out to you if we feel like we need to do something about it. If I don't reach out from you, I'll just see you again next week. I was like, okay, cool. Nasra, that was a Friday. Their office, my midwife's office, because my midwives, they weren't in a hospital. They had
I'm scared about what you're about to say.
They had their own little clinic.
Okay.
Yeah? They're not open on the weekends.
My heart is pumping.
Yeah?
That
was
a
a
Friday. Reached out to you on a Saturday.
She messaged me Sunday morning. Text message. I was sleeping, I remember. I was sleeping. Luckily, obviously, my husband doesn't work on the weekends, so I had someone there, innit? I woke up, I see I got a text message. I looked at the text message, and she was like, hi, Sawiya, I booked you in for an appointment at the hospital tomorrow. Go to Chelsea Westminster tomorrow at 10. And she was like, please go. And because this was during COVID times, this was March 2021, she was like, and unfortunately, you might have to just go alone. What? I'm sitting there reading that message, and I'm like, for her to message me on a Sunday morning, she's not even at work. She's at home messaging me this.
That's scary.
And she was like, go to the hospital Monday morning, first thing. So like, I literally ran to my husband. I was like, read this. I was like, what the fuck? Like, she's telling me to go to the hospital. She booked me an appointment. She booked me an appointment already. They're expecting me tomorrow. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do? And my husband, he was like, I'm not working tomorrow. I'll just call my manager. And
Did
I was
you
like,
panic?
I was a bit scared, but you probably wouldn't have, you wouldn't be able to tell that I'm scared. Like, I know how to mask, you know, my emotions.
Wow. Me, I'm the
Very
opposite.
well. Like, I would just be sitting there, but you wouldn't know how I feel, yeah.
But inside you're going, fuck.
Inside my heart's like this. Yeah.
Oh,
so anyways, next day, we go to Chelsea Westminster. And my husband had to wait outside. So the first woman I had to see, I went in alone. She told me to lay down, and she had like a monitor on my belly. And she basically said, we're just going to listen to the baby's heart rate. Every time you feel the baby move, I want you to click this button.
Oh yeah, I did that as well once.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's a little fun little task. It was like a 20-minute thing. So she was literally on her computer doing her own thing. And every time the baby moved, I had to click it. And I said to her, listen, I'm not going to lie. she kicks me more overnight.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to click this. She was like, no, don't worry. If your baby's like a night baby, it's fine. But she was like, even if you feel a little bit of movement, just click it.
Okay.
So I did it about 7 times or whatever. She had it all recorded. Then she told me to do a urine test or a urine sample. I went, peed, came back, showed her. She checked it. She was like, ooh, loads of protein. I was like, yeah, I've been told that already. What does that mean though? She's like, it's not supposed to be in there. You're not supposed to have protein in there. And I was like, oh, okay. So she's like, I'm going to send you off to someone else. Go to this floor, right? And they're going to go and do the whole scan on your belly and see what's going on. And I'm just like, oh my God, no one's really telling me what's going on. I was like, okay.
So yeah, even I'm panicking right now. And you're just telling the story.
It's,
how can they do that to you?
And bear in mind, my due date is the 12th of April, which was the first day of Ramadan last year, yeah? The 12th of April was my due date. This was March 20th. Way before, like 3 weeks before my due date. So I was in shock, innit? Right? So I go to the next woman, and this was where they did the scan. And once again, my husband was not allowed to come in. So he was just waiting outside the door. So I go in, and I'm just laying there, and she puts jelly on my belly. I love saying that, jelly on my belly. She put jelly on my belly, and then she's just, you know, looking at the baby, like the measurements of the head and the stomach. But this woman, she wasn't, like, you know, normally they reassure you. And they were like, oh, yeah, I can see 4 fingers, 4 toes. She wasn't doing none of that. She was just like,
oh my goodness.
And then she'd be like,
oh, you was probably shitting yourself.
And bear in mind, I'm looking at her and I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah. But you know when you just know, like, something is going on. And then she went to her desk. I'm still laying there. She went to her desk. This bitch had a lot to say. She had a lot to say, and I'm sitting there in my anxiety. Why are you typing so much?
Scared.
And then I said to her again, is everything all right? Because not gonna lie, like, I was just told to come to the hospital today, like, I'm a bit panicky. And then she was just like, she turned around and she was like, okay, so basically, it seems as if your baby's measuring small. So she was like, at this point, you're basically 37 weeks today, right? Because that was the Monday, innit?
Mm-hmm.
At the stage you're at, your baby's smaller than average. Let's just say that. So she was like, so I said, how small? And she was like, the baby's head, particularly the head and the stomach, are smaller than normal.
Okay.
And I said, okay. She was like, yeah. So she was like, it's at that point, it was around 12:30. She was like, I want you to come back in 2 hours. I booked you in to see the doctor, like the big guy. And he's on the 4th floor. So she was like, please come back in 2 hours. Go out, take a walk, do whatever you need to do. You have to be back. You go straight to the 4th floor. I said, okay. I go outside. My husband's like, so what happened? And I'm like, bro, I don't even know, you know? I was like, all I know is that in 2 hours, we have to come back. And he was just like, this must be quite serious then, and I was like, yeah, and apparently the baby's measuring small, that's 1, and 2, bare protein in my urine. And do you know what I think my husband did? When I told him about the protein in the urine and the high blood pressure, he went straight onto Google. Yeah, so he already got his answer when he did that, but he didn't say anything to me. So anyways, we started walking around Chelsea. I think we went to Starbucks, got like a drink or whatever. We walking around and my mum's calling me and I'm updating my mum.
Yeah.
And I told her everything. I said, listen, this is what's been happening. Basically, they've seen protein in my urine and I have to come back in 2 hours to see the doctor. So my mum was like, huh? I'm coming. Because my mum, she's a nurse also. So she's really into the whole, you know, she wants to hear what the doctors have to say. You know, she's quite strong in that department. She knows what she's talking about. So
did they let her in?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So my mum comes. Even if she wasn't allowed in, it was nice to have her there, you know. So she comes into the hospital. Now it's time to go back. Me, Hassan and my mum, we go up the escalators, going up to the 4th floor. Get there now. Tell me why, as I'm walking through the doors, I see birth center. I looked at it, I was like,
the birth center is on the 4th floor.
I said, it's the birth center.
Snap.
Like, what am I doing here?
Oh,
Why am I at the birth center? So anyways,
you thought it was going to be an office, innit?
I just thought it was another fucking ward or something.
Man.
I didn't think it was the birth. I wasn't there before. I was just in one of the little rooms before. This is a birth center.
Okay.
So they sent me up to the 4th floor. So I was like, okay. So now my mum and my husband once again weren't allowed to come in with me. I went in, and just by the door they checked my blood pressure again, and they were like, "Oh, your blood pressure's quite high." I said, "I know. I've been told this. That's why I'm here." And in my head, I'm thinking, well, the reason why it stays high is maybe it's because I'm really anxious right now. I'm pretty sure you can get high blood pressure from stress, because it's like, why are you guys surprised, bro? Like that I have high blood pressure. And plus, as you already know, my 3rd trimester was
hard.
It was really hard. So I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't surprised about the high blood pressure. Anyways, I get called into a little room, and I see the protein lady, the one that was like, "Oh, loads of protein." I see her, and I see another lady that was taking notes, like a nursing assistant. And then the doctor comes in. This is the man. This is the big guy. This is the final form. This is the top doctor. Yeah,
Consultant.
He comes, the big guy. And he's got my pregnancy booklet and everything. And he's like, "Right, Sawiya, how you doing? How you feeling? Are you good?" It's like, "No, not really. I'm a bit confused. I've seen like 2 different people, and they're all just like shocked that I have protein in my urine. And I don't know what the hell that means." And he was like, "Okay, I've got a few questions to ask you." I said, "Okay." And he was like, "Have you been getting headaches?" I said, "No." And he was like, "Have you been getting blurred vision?" I said, "No." He's like, okay. And he's just looking through the notes, and he was like, "Okay, so you have high blood pressure, you have protein in your urine, and your baby's measuring small." He was like, "Because you have all 3 of those symptoms," he was like, "we're suspecting preeclampsia." And as soon as he said preeclampsia, like, my heart sunk to my bum. You know them ones? I was just like, oh my God. Like, what? And then I think he was more surprised that I didn't feel any headaches, nausea, I didn't get like blurred vision. He was like, "I'm very surprised that you are absolutely fine, but you actually have like preeclampsia. Like, that's scary shit." He was like, "You should be really happy that your midwife clocked onto this and that she sent you here." Can you imagine? Because he was like, "It's not safe for you to carry this baby until 41 weeks. So it's better for us to just nip it in the bud." So basically, what was preeclampsia? I've got some notes written here.
Please tell us.
Preeclampsia is a condition that causes high blood pressure during pregnancy and after labour. It can be serious if not treated. So what are the signs? The signs are high blood pressure, protein in your pee, blurred vision, headaches, baby measuring small. I've already had 3 of those, okay? How does preeclampsia affect the baby in the mum? It affects the arteries carrying blood to the placenta. If the placenta gets no blood, the baby will not receive the blood, oxygen and nutrients,
Food,
leading to slow growth, low birth weight, preterm birth, etc., etc. But for the mother, it can be quite serious, as it can lead to a separation of the placenta from the uterus, which is like a placental abruption, which can lead to a stillbirth later on, or organ failure, seizures, or strokes for the mother. So while he's explaining all of this, I'm sitting there like this.
Basically, your life is at risk.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like this. And I said to him, "Before you continue, I need my mum or my partner in this room, because you guys, there's already 3 people in this room." I was like, "I don't care about COVID restrictions. You're telling me something this important, and no one's allowed to come in with me." And he was like, "Yes, of course, yes, go get your..." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get my mum."
You could have let me have her in all this time.
Like, before it was like, oh, COVID restrictions.
Oh.
But there's 3 people who are not in my social bubble, what do you call it?
Yeah.
That are standing here, and the room is tiny. You might as well
Were
bring
they
in my
wearing
mum.
masks?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You might as well bring in my mum as well,
Might
and
as
my
well.
husband. Let's
Might
have a
as
little
well.
party. What the fuck? Anyways.
You need support as well when someone's telling you something that like, you know, scary.
Exactly. I had to tell him, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm walking out, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what the fuck? So I go out there. My husband's already losing his shit.
Maskeen.
He's already losing his shit, because my guy Googled it. So he already knew about preeclampsia before I even found out.
Skin.
So I said to my mum and my husband, which one of you want to come in? Straight away, my husband was like, take your mum. He's like, take your mum. Because he gets like that. He gets really distressed. And I prefer to have someone who's quite strong.
Who's calm. Because you're very, very,
Yeah.
well put together.
Yeah. And I prefer...
Me, I'm the opposite. I'm chaotic.
Yeah, so obviously on the inside I was upset, but you couldn't really tell. I seemed calm on the outside. So I said, listen, my mum kind of knows all this jargon with doctors.
Yeah.
Let's bring my mum with me. Hassan, I was like, I'll update you in a minute kind of thing. Me and my mum came in. He explained all of that to my mum again. My mum was just sitting there like, okay, what can we do about this? How does this get treated? So he was like, in order to treat this, the baby needs to come out. I said, huh? He's like, yes, you're going to meet your daughter. You're not leaving this hospital.
No.
I was like, but I have to. No, of course not, because I didn't know I was going to be induced. So I was like, listen, I ain't staying here. I'm going back home. I'm going to freshen up, get my bag. He was like, oh, yes, of course. Go home, freshen up. But he was like, please come back. Don't run away.
Oh, my God.
And when he kept saying, please come back, and because he was making that as a joke, I was like, I kind of do want to run away now. Like, what do you mean, please come back?
You had nothing prepared. You had no idea that was going to happen to you.
No idea. Bear in mind that the bag was semi-packed anyways.
Yeah, but when he said to you, please come back, did he mean today?
Yeah, he said, you're being admitted, bruv. You're being... In fact, they were going to induce me that same night.
Yeah, okay, what?
The only way to cure preeclampsia or to nip it in the bud, the baby has to come out. Even if you find out that you've got preeclampsia pretty early, the baby has to come out.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Even if you find out, let's say at like 25 weeks?
Preterm labour, sis.
No.
Yes.
You
Because women can get, your placenta can abrupt, that's one. You can get seizures, that's why he was asking me, do you get blurred vision? Do you get headaches? And I said, no. I could have went the rest of my pregnancy not even knowing that I had preeclampsia. So shout out to my midwife.
Shout out to a midwife.
Shout out to my midwife who messaged me on a Sunday morning and secured that appointment because...
Sawiya, do you see like how much women can go through just to give birth to a child? Like, can you imagine like not knowing that you have preeclampsia and then all of a sudden now you just find yourself like everything that you've just worked towards for the last 9 months are just...
Mm-hmm. Especially knowing that I was sitting there the whole time, 9 months, thinking, oh, this is calm, this is easy, I'm not getting any symptoms or nothing. Nah, it got me nicely in the end. And by the way, this is weird, yeah? While we were in that room talking with the doctor, he was like, by the way, do you have a sister or any sisters? And I said, yeah. He was like, did she have a kid yet? I said, no. He was like, He was like, because you've had preeclampsia, it might be more likely that your sister will get it too when she gives birth. I was like, oh, okay. And he was also like, and it's possible that you could get it again as well on your second. And I'm like, how can I avoid...
No, you're going to be high risk for the next one,
Yeah. I was high risk straight away. And like, so anyways, we left the hospital now. And my mom's like calling my brother. Like, the Bluetooth in the car. She's calling my brother. She's calling my sister. Guess what? Sawiya's going to get induced. This, that.
That baby's coming.
Going home. Oh, my day. So anyways, when me and my mum left that room, we go to my husband now. The boy is like, you're going to be a dad.
Straight up.
You're going to be a dad. The baby's going to come out. And he was just like, what the fuck? So we had to like, we had to like tell him.
He wasn't ready for this.
Yeah, he was shook, and I told him about the whole preeclampsia thing. He was like, I knew it, I googled it, I knew it, but I didn't want to say anything. And I was like, I'm glad you didn't tell me because
you were in panic.
I avoided Google completely. When they kept repeating
you really can't.
Protein in the pea, I thought, I'm not going to Google this because...
You can't.
I don't want to know.
Uncle Google will have you thinking that you got some sort of disease or lying.
So we go straight home, get in the shower, and you know what it is? You know what's mad? I was already low-key prepared. When I tell you, the day before, the nurse, the midwife even messaged me, my hair was just like clean and blow-dried. That's one. 2, I was completely shaved as well. You know that ones?
Nice.
I shaved everything. And I didn't even know I was going to be induced, but I was just
Nice.
ready. So all I had to do was just shower. I didn't have to worry about my hair.
Yeah.
I showered.
Yeah.
I moisturized every part of my body, like all the nooks and crannies, like because I was like, oh my god,
Everybody's gonna see me naked.
I had anxiety. Like I cannot believe people are gonna. Nah.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad that you shaved because you know what happened to me?
They shaved for you.
No, I went to get a wax done, right?
Yeah.
At like, I think I told you I was due on the 1st, right? So I got waxed like a week or 2 before I was due to give birth on the 1st, and then I got a pedicure done. I got a manicure. Like I was looking fresh, and then Hannah decided to stay in for another 2 weeks, right? So by the time that came, everything had grown back. Number one,
Your nails are back.
the nails had chipped. If you see all of my birth pictures, like the little pink nail polish has chipped. I look homeless. Literally, I look like a tramp. My toes, because it was so swollen, my feet were so swollen, the toes look done out here. I was so pissed. I was like, I can't even go back now because if I go there and I try get another wax done, what if it induces labour? Like, I can't even go back now.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the, you know, I couldn't reach down there to shave, and I couldn't see what I was doing. So I was like, I'm hairy. Fuck it. They're gonna have to see the hair.
Exactly. And you can't predict this shit. You can either be really early, on time, or late.
You don't know
Like,
what
you don't know,
is.
innit?
Qadarillahi, innit?
Yeah. And for me, I was really hoping that this would happen in Ramadan. I was really gassed that it was the first day of Ramadan that was my due date.
Oh.
But that never happened, innit? It is what it is. Anyways, let's get back to the story.
Would you have changed her name if she was born in Ramadan?
To
Something Ramadani.
I don't know. Come here, Iftar. Come here. Come here. Hey, Timid, come here right now. Sambusa. Come here, my love.
Yo, Timid, hurry up.
Timid, come here right now.
Wait. Kala.
Por.
I know, it's a joke. She said, iftar.
Iftari.
Hey, listen. I find some shit like that so fun.
It is funny.
Oh, those jokes, nah.
Well, if you don't laugh, you cry. Anyways,
Well, I went off topic. Let's get back on topic.
let's get back on topic.
Oh,
Anyways.
it was so funny. Killed me.
Anyways, now I go to the shower, I'm moisturising, getting ready, but like I have this like sunken feeling, you know, anxiety. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm gonna walk into pain like blindfolded. I don't know what's coming. Like, they're just gonna start labour on me, basically. Anyways, after I had a shower and stuff, we kind of like quickly ran to Asda, picked up all the little essentials, like, you know, little cute little robe,
Yeah.
things that I would need in the hospital. And then I was all good to go. We went back to the hospital, me, my mum, my husband, and they were showing me, you know, where I'll be staying. And I kind of imagined having my own little room, but I was in a room with like 6 other women.
Oh, you was in the ward.
Yeah. What do they call it? Triage? Is that what it's called?
Triage.
I was in a place where all the women were already induced, or some of them were already experiencing contractions.
Oh, yeah,
And-
because they put you in the other place first, and then when you're actually about to give
Ready.
birth, they move you
Yes.
to the actual labour ward, yeah.
Yes. So they were like, here's where you're staying. And I was like, oh my God, like I can literally see another woman
The
behind
ghetto.
the curtain. There's beige curtains like separating us. And I can hear a couple of women just like groaning in pain. And I was like, oh my God.
That place is definitely traumatic, wallahi.
I was like, it felt like I was in a queue for torture, like I was next. Like each time a woman would be called to the labour room, and then you would hear her screaming.
Oh, you know when you're
And then the
saying
next
that, wallahi,
woman
my
goes-
stomach's hurting, wallahi.
I was in a queue, I was next.
fuck.
And then, especially knowing that I've got this whole preeclampsia thing, I was like, this is even more scary because I don't know how this is going to turn out. Do you know what I mean? What if I start having a seizure? Like I was just like, oh my God. Anyways, by the time it hit like 8, 9 o'clock, my mum and my husband had to leave. They were like, not gonna lie, we allowed you to help her, settle down, but you guys are gonna have to leave. And from now on, she can only have one person come in to see her from like 9 o'clock in the morning until 8. Yeah, 9 till 8.
Only one person.
One person.
What, can they leave and then swap with someone else?
No.
Rah.
One person. Right?
Who's gonna do a shift that long then? What the fuck?
They thought if that person ends up getting sick or having COVID, then you can switch.
Okay.
But you can only have one birth partner, and that's that. You can't even swap.
Rah.
Anyways, now I already made it clear that I wanted my mum to be my birth partner because I thought I need someone who's like my rock kind of thing.
Yeah.
But my husband, he was still coming to the hospital, but he would just wait outside the ward. He would still be there, but he wasn't allowed in. So, anyways, the doctor comes and speaks to us, and she's just like, "So how do you feel?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." She was like, "You're feeling good? We can check your blood pressure again throughout the night." And then my mum was like, "Listen, my daughter needs some rest, so could you guys do the induction tomorrow morning instead of now?" Because they were thinking of inducing me right there and then.
Allah.
And they were like, "Yeah, that's actually fine. You can just sleep it off, and then tomorrow morning we can start the induction." And my mum was like, "Okay, cool." So me, I just knock out, but I just kept getting woken up because every 2 hours they would check my blood pressure.
That's so jarring.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Obs. Like, please just an obs.
And also, I had to
with your obs
have that whole monitor thing on my stomach.
I hated that.
So like, I could just constantly hear the baby's heart rate.
And even that, and then the dee every now and then.
Yeah.
Dee. Oh.
But it causes like anxiety though, because
Wallahi,
I'm
horrible.
now listening to my baby's heart rate, and every time it switches in like speed, sometimes it'll be a bit fast, or sometimes it'll slow down, and I'm like, is everything alright? You know them ones, like I couldn't even sleep properly. Okay?
It's impossible to sleep in hospitals.
It's just impossible. And then I'm hearing other women just like or like
Please, I hope no one cuts that clip and uses it for something else. Please don't do that. That sounds a woman trying to hold back her groans with a contraction decay. It's not dirty in any way. Please don't. Oh my god.
No, but that's exactly what you hear. And then in the background, like faintly, you can hear screams.
That was me, Sawiya. That was me.
And I remember
screaming.
I remember I actually did a snap of myself, and you could hear the crying in the background. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm next," type of thing, yeah.
Oh my.
And then at times you can hear like a baby crying as the woman is being wheeled off to recovery, and I'm just like, "Holy fuck!" Like I'm literally in a queue right now, like. I'm in a queue for hell, bro. Like, I'm going to be screaming soon.
Oh, no, I'm scared.
So anyways, the next morning, who's sleeping? I was up by 6. And I went to the toilet, freshened up, brushed my teeth, whatever, prepared for breakfast. They came, gave me breakfast. By the time it hit 9 o'clock, I called my mum, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm just getting breakfast ready. I'll be on my way, blah, blah, blah."
Mm-hmm.
By like 9:30, the nurse swooped in.
The curtain.
Yeah, and she came in with a table and like an assistant, and she was like, "Let's get the induction ready." I said, "Huh?"
Which one did they do for you?
So for me, I had to get the balloon method, and Nosra.
What's the balloon method? They put it up inside you and then do what?
Nosra, it was so bad.
That sounds so traumatic.
It was so bad.
I'm so close to not even asking. Wallahi.
I just have to explain it. I just have to explain it to you, because anyone who ever comes up to me and says, "Sawiya, I'm going to get a balloon induction, how was it?" I'm going to say, "Run for your life," or pick something else. That's what I'm going to say.
Is it worse than the sweet?
Sis, okay, so this is what happened. She comes in, she's putting on her gloves, and she's like, "Okay, so we're going to do the balloon method on you." Okay? And she was like, basically, I'm going to insert a balloon that will sit on top of your cervix, and then I'm going to inflate it. I'm going to put saline solution on it so that it sits on top of your cervix. And then I'm going to put another balloon that goes under your cervix, and I'm going to inflate that as well. So by the end of it, you will have 2 balloons applying pressure on top of your cervix and under your cervix. I said, "Okay, cool. Is it going to hurt though? Is it going to be painful?" That's all I cared about, yeah? And she was like, "It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Fucking liars. Liars.
And do you know what? I believed her.
Skinhead.
I believed her.
That's when you should have screamed.
I believed her.
Gas in air.
But guess what? The other lady wheeled in the gas and air.
Allah.
She wheeled in the gas and air. And then this woman, the one that was doing the torture, she was like, just breathe in and out through the tube. Don't take your mouth out. Just go in and out through the tube. I said, okay. I had no idea what was going on. But when I tell you, it felt like she went like this and grabbed my cervix, lifted it up and put a balloon there, put my cervix there, and then she put saline solution in the balloon, and then she puts another. When I tell you, for 5 minutes, it felt like she grabbed my cervix and was doing them. I was laying there, screaming through the tube. Screaming through the tube. And that was the first time I ever had the gas and air as well, so I was gone. I was high as a kite. And at the same time, I'm just thinking, Hoya's on her way. She's not here yet. This woman's violating me. This is so fucking painful. She's lying to me. And another woman's just standing there watching. And it's just, I was just screaming. And at one point, I took the tube out of my mouth. And I was like, could you stop? Like, stop. Stop. Like, no, like, stop. She did it right there on the bed. I'm pretty sure everyone can hear me. The woman right beside me could probably hear me. I was like, oh my God, could you stop? Almost done. She gave a fuck. But I feel like her hands were rough. I cannot lie. She was rough with it. Just almost like, you know, she wanted to just get this job done quick.
They're actually harassing.
And I was just like...
No, Naharis.
I kept saying stop. I mean, you could have just allowed, like, just given me some rest. I don't know. I don't know if this is a type of job where you have to get it done quickly. I don't know. But it was probably 5 to 6 minutes long. It wasn't that long.
Bro.
But it was like a lifetime.
This is looking like a common theme for that hospital.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say, the fact that she gave me the gas and air, it dawned on me afterwards. I was like, wait a minute. That is used for labour. That's used for labour.
A little bit uncomfortable.
And when I said to you, is it going to be painful? I would have just preferred for her to say, yeah, it is going to be painful. It is. So we're going to give you the gas and air. Just so that you can mentally prepare me. You didn't mentally prepare me at all. Like, I was just sucking on this gas and air, and all of a sudden, the pain that I was experiencing.
She's a torturer, wallahi.
I was crying out for my mum, fam. Like, and then my mum, after she was done, yeah, after everything was done, she kind of sellotaped the tubes that were coming out of me, the tubes from the balloons. They were dangling out of me, so she had to tape it onto my thigh, my inner thigh. And she was like, yeah, you can still go to the toilet and pee, like, it's not really going to disrupt anything. You're going to keep this in you for, like, up to 24 hours, or until your water breaks.
You know, did they give you a reason for them picking that particular method?
They didn't give me a reason. It's almost like they assigned it to me. Like, they didn't give me any fucking option. But now I know for next time, I'm never going to go for a fucking balloon method.
You know, while you were, obviously, because you was in COVID times, right?
Yeah.
Were they offering any antenatal classes?
No.
They weren't, were they?
Nothing. I was just getting booklets from my midwife.
That's sad.
Booklets to read.
Because wallahi, when I did it, they could never have done that for me. I went to all the classes. I went to every single one of the classes that they were offering. And I sat through them. It was 2 hours each class. I think it was about 4 classes.
Yeah.
They couldn't have said to me, yeah, we're doing this. I would have been like, why? When you could do that instead.
I didn't know what type of method it was going to be. I thought they were going to be like,
ambushed you.
Here are the options, or I thought they would have given me some sort of option. Because I know that there's different types of inductions. There's like an IV one. There's like a sweep one. I don't know.
Did you at all have the sweep?
No, I didn't get sweep. No.
Wow!
The maddest thing was, when she was doing the induction, she was like, I can see you're already 1 centimetre dilated. Man, I don't give a fuck about that. It fucking hurts.
Sawiya, if you ever... You know how you said you'll never ever let anyone go through, like if they ask you, you'll tell them, run. If anyone ever says to you, I want to do the sweep, run. Because you know what the sweep is. So not only does it hurt that their fingers, the whole hand has been inserted inside you, they now have to go from, let's say this is your cervix, yeah? They now have to sweep like that, your cervix. It basically is like a push, it's like a flick, it's like a push start for it to start something. And that sweep, wallahi, Sawiya is like this. Imagine inside you. It's that hard. Wallahi. The woman, when
That's
she
what
went
I mean,
inside
it's
me,
just-
the way I screamed in that triage, yeah. The way I screamed. She literally went, yeah. Never mind. And took her whole hand out. She was like, yeah, you're screaming a bit too much for me. For my liking, I'm sorry, I don't really like that. I'm not going to do it. And I said, cool. Well, like I said, alhamdulillah.
What?
Cool. She said she didn't like the way I was screaming a bit too much. She was like, yeah, I don't like it. And I was like, all right, cool. Sayonara, bitch. She took her hand out. I said, good.
No, she's fucking... No, she shouldn't even be a midwife. I'm sorry. Like, who says that?
Wallahi, Sawiya. Yo.
It's like me.
Balloon.
It's like me punching you in the face right now and saying, you know what, you're too upset for my liking. How dare you fucking
How
react
dare you react like that?
fuck off. Anyways, this is getting me hot. This is getting me hot.
I'm traumatized. When you were describing that earlier, I felt like I was going to vomit. Wallahi. Oh my god.
So yeah, when that was all done, she was like taking off her gloves and I could see her entire gloves were covered in blood, yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah, she took off her gloves. I mean, her whole, like... Anyways, I'm sitting there, I'm laying there, and like, I still got the gas and air in my hand. Now, I was violated. When I tell you I was laying there in shock.
Did you cry?
Like, what just happened? I didn't cry. I was just... I just felt violated. I can't explain it. I was in shock. So afterwards...
I can't tell you how many times I cried in that place, wallahi. They was doing up reassurance for me, wallahi. The woman, after she took to check the dilation the first time,
Yeah.
when they first gave me that gas and air, she stuck her hand so deep inside me, yeah. She wiggled about her hands for bare long. Wallahi, wahba, wallahi, inside there, wallahi. She done mix something up in there, yeah.
Bruh.
And then when she come out, I was in tears. I was literally like,
Oh, it's so painful, bro.
and she was like, I'm so sorry, I really had to do that. And I was there like, but you know what? I feel like because they see it every day.
To them, it's not a thing,
yeah,
bruv.
like they
It's
see
their-
it
it's
every
their
day.
job. It's
To
their
me,
job.
it's like my life. Like I'm putting my life on the line. And to them, it's like, oh yeah, just another day
But
in the
100%, I feel like with my induction, her hands were rough. If you would have just done it, why were you touching my cervix? Just put the balloon on top and put it underneath. Why are you handling it?
Oh.
She was handling my cervix. Bro.
And you know what the worst thing is, Sawiya? It's not even like she stuck her hand in a big hole. Like, this is such a small hole that your whole hand is going inside. Like, this is not fair, bro.
And she's applying pressure on it. Like, the cervix.
Oh.
It was almost like I could feel her starting period cramps. She's manually starting it, yeah? She pressed the on button, she reset it and pressed, she took the batteries out.
This is so traumatic for me
And
because
put the batteries back in and said, kickstart.
That's the most, wallahi, you know what I'm saying? The list of pain. The hands inside you is painful. But there's some women that don't feel it. I was talking to someone and she was like, every time they put their hands, it didn't really hurt that much. Me, I'm like, I'm fighting for my life. And she's like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. I was like, are you joking?
As in fiddling with the cervix? Or?
Bruh, as in her whole hand. The hand was
Yeah.
inside. Look how small my hand is. I wouldn't want
That's
this
a lot.
inside me.
That's a lot.
I wouldn't want this inside
That's
me.
a lot.
I literally had to say to the midwife one time, I was like, listen, can I have a look at how big your hands are? She was like, look, I've got small hands. And I was like, okay, they're thin. Okay, you can go. The other one was like, can I see your hands? She was big, manly. I said, hell no.
Hell no.
Nah, sorry, continue.
So
Oh my God.
after she was done, she took the gas and air from me. I was getting a bit too comfortable.
She never let you have it.
She was like, that's it now.
Oh, that's so deep.
And I was just like, you fucking bitch. Just let me have it. She was like, this is for the labour, for later. But she was like, while you're being induced, like, the contractions will start. But she was like, until your water breaks, like, until you're in active labour, you're not going to see the gas and air. Right? So then she fucks off and my mum comes straight away. I said, Hoya, you just missed induction, Hoya. Where were you? Like,
my
she was just like, oh, just, traffic and this and that. I said, Hoya, fam.
You've been traumatized, wallahi, and Hoya
Your
got there
daughter
late.
got violated just now.
Oh
I had the
my
gas in there and
days.
everything. I'm telling my mum, she's like, oh fuck, I missed it. She looked at my bed sheets. I've got like drops of blood on my bed sheets.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
I can't lie, within an hour, I felt mild contractions and it was like period pains. And I was just like, oh, I feel it. Right? And then eventually, let's just say it started around 10:30, 11.
In the afternoon?
In the morning.
Morning, okay.
Right after my induction, 10:30, 11, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My contraction started, and it was manageable at first. So it was really strong period pains, and I'll just breathe through it. By this time, my husband already arrived, but he was outside of the ward, just chilling there. And it was just me and my mum in the room, and my mum just kept, telling me, breathe through it, just that, the other.
Breathe.
Breathe.
Don't tell me to breathe.
Not so.
Have you seen that TikTok?
No, I don't.
Of Drake. He's like, breathe. Don't tell me to breathe. Hey, yo, someone, give me a shot.
That was me, literally, my mood. At one point, my contractions got really bad, Sawiya. Do you remember when you were saying you had really abnormal contractions?
Yeah.
I had a contraction, and I'm not joking. Wallah, God's my witness here. My contraction lasted 18 minutes straight.
Bro, my longest contraction in one go was like 13 minutes. So I fucking feel you. One time I was in pain. You know when you track it?
I was tracking
it. And you know when you tell someone they don't believe you, bro. How do you explain that to somebody that you was feeling non-stop for 18 minutes? 18 minutes, that's wild.
My mum was sitting there, and I was getting uncomfortable, so I stood up. And then at one point I was getting too hot, so I yeeted off my bandana. There was a fan. And I was just I was getting hot, and I kept walking around, and I'm bending over. My mum's recording all of this. I can even show you the videos in a minute.
Scared.
And I'm like, "Hoy, it's been 18 minutes." And we keep trying to call the nurse or some shit, because in my mind I'm like, "This is not normal. How am I still in pain for 18 minutes?" Yeah,
it's not normal,
so
man.
I was just getting to a point where I was just getting hot. My whole body was just getting hot. I was just like, "Oh my god, this pain is it's like a strong period pain holding you 18 minutes." Yeah. So I was just like, I didn't know what to do with myself. So the nurse finally came, and she was like, "Oh, we can just give you strong painkillers, blah, blah, blah. That should take the edge off." So I sat down on the bed. And the thing is with me, she gave me painkillers, bro.
You're not supposed to do that. She gave you what did she give you?
I literally took tablets.
Bastard.
I literally took ibuprofen.
Yo, this hospital, fam, wallahi, somebody needs to start chatting to them. I swear to God.
I cannot even lie. It worked a little bit. It took the edge off.
Okay.
She gave me the tablets, but do you know what it is? I was in so much pain that as soon as I put the tablets in my mouth and I tried to back it,
it got stuck.
I was heaving. I was like, I forced it down, and then within minutes I vomited everywhere. I was like, I'm gonna vomit. I vomited because when you get bad cramps, do you feel sick?
Vomiting. Yeah.
I used to get nauseous back in the day when I was on my period. The cramps would make me so nauseous. So I was vomiting all over the place, whatever. So they gave me some more tablets, because obviously it all came out. I left it there for a bit. My mum was like, "Let's go outside of the ward and go for walks and blah, blah, blah." So I went out, I saw Hassan.
Did it feel weird walking knowing that you've got 2 balloons inside you?
Was it heavier? It didn't bother me. I couldn't feel it. As soon as she took her hands out, I was calm.
Okay.
I was calm. The only thing that was weird was the tubes.
The dangling, yeah.
Other than that, I didn't actually feel anything inside of me.
Wow.
It's very weird. So me and Hassan, we would just walk where the escalators are, in Chelsea Westminster. Where you can kind of look over and see.
I'm traumatized by that place.
We'd be walking up and down, and every time a contraction came, I was stopping my tracks. And then I'd continue walking, and then I was stopping my tracks and continue, and it just got worse and worse and worse. As time went on, it just got worse. And then I went back to my bed, and then by 8 o'clock, my mom and my husband had to leave. So I was like, oh my God, they had to go.
By yourself.
Yeah, so now I'm just this is a bit depressing. I'm not going to see them until tomorrow. But if I go into labour, then my mom would be able to come in. So anyways, I'm there now. I'm getting ready to just get some sleep. And they gave me an injection.
To slow things down?
They gave me an injection to not slow things down, but she was to ease the pain a little bit. Cannot remember for the life of me what it was. Maybe it's morphine. I don't know what the fuck it was.
Motherfuckers with their injections.
She put that injection in me, and then I just I went to sleep.
Couldn't have been morphine.
And I'm not gonna lie.
I'll give that to pregnant women.
Yeah. Oh, really? I'm not gonna lie. I slept a couple of hours. I slept good, and then I got woken up.
It was probably the one to calm it down a little bit. You know what I realised they do? because obviously they shift change, don't they?
Yeah.
And they have to hand over and they have to do all of that. So the shift change is around 7. And then before that, like they have like maybe 35, 40 minutes to an hour to do the handover and everything, because there's usually a lot of shit to explain, right? When it's coming up to around that time where they need to swap, they don't want anyone going into active labour because they got shit to do. So they slow you down.
That makes so much
until
sense.
everything changes, then they start kicking things off again.
It makes so much sense.
You work and you're giving birth on their schedule, not on Ilahi's schedule.
Facts. So I was there, she injected me a little bit, and then I just turned over to sleep. But obviously someone came, checked my blood pressure again.
I hate that.
And then around 2 o'clock in the morning, I got woken up. And she was like, "Excuse me, hi darling, is this Sawiya?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "I'm going to take you to labour ward now." I said, "How?"
At 2 o'clock in the morning?
2 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Why?"
Bitch, where?
First of all, you said this needs to stay in me for 24 hours. And I was like, secondly, my water didn't break, so I don't understand why you're waking me up. Like, I was like, "What's going on?" She was like, "Well, there's a bed that's free in the labour ward, so..."
Because it's a bed free. I told you, you're working on their time, their schedule.
I was like, wait, there's a baby boom out here, innit? I was like, right, like, it was that packed that they had to keep a couple of women in one room, and then one by one, I was like, oh my God. So I was like, okay, cool, give me time to like call my birth partner and stuff, pack my shit. I called my sister instead of my mum because it was 2 o'clock in the morning. You know how mums are like, innit? You don't want to call her.
You don't want to
that
stress
late
her.
at
She's
night.
gonna think, what the hell happened?
Yeah. So I called my sister and I was like, "Yo, Sumaya, like, call Hoya, go to Hoya's room and gently, gently wake her up. Just be like this, Hoya, Sawiya's going into labour, go straight to the hospital." She was like, "Oh, fuck, okay." This is what she did. "Hoya, Sawiya's gone into labour." I said, "Sawiya, you had one fucking job."
Your mum must have woken up like this.
Hoya woke up like... Anyways, I packed all my shit, yeah. Boy's on her way. And at that time, it seemed like Hoya got there within 10 minutes. Well, it was like, as soon as I got to the labour room, my mum came.
Fam, at 3 o'clock in the morning, there's no one outside.
Traffic is...
Phew, wallahi.
You know,
You're flying.
No, the traffic lights are green.
Oh my God.
And plus, we already live in southwest London, so Chelsea was like...
Oh my God, not that far.
20 minutes from us.
Wallahi.
From my mum's, yeah.
From my mum's as well, it's about 20 minutes.
Yeah, so my mum was there within half the time.
That's mad.
So she comes in, I'm in the labour room now. It's my own little room, there's a fucking TV there, even though it's pretty useless because ain't nobody gonna watch TV. It's my own little ensuite toilet. Like, I was like, this is nice, you know, this is comfortable.
Yeah.
So the lady was like, "Okay, I'm gonna break your water." Now, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't feel a thing.
So alhamdulillah.
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 It almost felt like she just kind of put 2 fingers in, and then all of a sudden I'm feeling like this warm sensation.
She used her hand?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it was that long stick with the hook on it that fucked me up.
Yeah. And bear in mind, I feel like maybe the balloon eased it as well.
You know, saying that, I can actually feel my uterus right now crying.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you. My uterus is crying from trauma right now.
And she deflated the balloons. Both balloons had to come out, and that didn't hurt. She thought it would be uncomfortable, and I thought, oh my God, here we go again.
Oh no.
But it was actually calm. And then I went to the toilet, peed a little bit, right? But as soon as I went into the toilet, my mum came with me. As soon as I went into the toilet, the contraction that I got...
Oh my God.
In the toilet. I remember I was like holding on to my... I went wheezing the knees. I went weak in the knees.
My skin.
I was literally like, and I was bursting to go to the toilet with a contraction. Like, I was just
peed yourself.
I sat down on the toilet, I peed, and I'm just like, oh my God, that was so bad. I go back to the bed, I'm sitting there, the lady's like, here's the gas in there, here we go. You know, like, now, she was like, now it's active labour, because the water's been broken. She was like, it begins now.
Next level, innit?
Yeah, next level. So from 2:30 until 6:30.
I have a question.
Back-to-back contractions, yeah.
Did you ever, doubt the effectiveness of the gas and air, and then try to just let a contraction pass without using the gas and air?
Yeah, I felt that.
Did you see the difference though?
Big difference.
Fuck me.
Do you know how much I love the gas and air?
Oh, the difference was big.
Let me explain it in a way where people can
Oh,
understand.
Sawiya. I'm glad someone understands, bro.
It really, really fucking helped for
Oh
me,
my god.
So the gas and air, what it did for me was the pain was there. So I would feel the contraction coming.
Sorry.
Right? It would take me, my mind would go somewhere else, but I could physically feel it, but my mind will go somewhere else. And let me say something quite interesting, Nasra, yeah? The maddest thing happened to me. And it was weird, because this is, oh my god, it's so weird. It gives me goosebumps every time.
Yeah.
Like, it freaks me out. While you were in labour with the gas and air, did you feel like it was so surreal? Like,
Yeah.
The whole experience felt weird, right? So like, my eyes were closed at some point because I was so gone from the gas and air. All I could see was white. So you see this light here. That's all I could see, yeah? And you know what I could hear the entire time?
What?
Circus music.
That's fucked up.
Like, you know when you go to like a fun fair and you have the carousels? Just random like circus music. The entire time I was in labour from 2 until 6, it was on a loop. And then when the contraction stops and I take the tube out of my mouth, I come back to reality, and then I just see my mom and the nurse, but everyone's moving slowly. So I just keep my eyes closed, and all I see is white. Like, I can't even explain it. It was like, was that my happy place? Do you know what I mean?
I can explain the white. I can find a solution to explain the white.
But why
the
was
circus
the
music?
thing?
That one.
It almost felt like I was at a fun fair. Yeah.
Do you know where it is? Because you know when you're in labour, it's like you're halfway in between the grave and life.
That's what was.
You're like one
that's
foot in the
why
grave
I
and
was
one foot on
bugging.
earth.
From when you're when pregnant, and
Yeah.
even after you're pregnant, you know, the 40 days.
Yeah.
The grave is open for you, basically.
It's wild.
Right? So it's like, so while I was in labour, that's all I kept thinking about. You know, I just kept thinking about God. I kept thinking about the afterlife. I kept thinking about just death. Like, that's when I felt closest to like, what do you call it? Mortality.
Yeah, you felt really mortal.
I felt close to death. Let's just say that, yeah.
Do you know while I was in labour that
So-
I didn't mention? Wallahi, so many times I said to my mum, Hoyo, I think I'm gonna die. This is the end for me. Hoyo, this is it. I think this is actually the end of my life. I'm going to die. And I said that to my mum so many times. I feel like I'm going to die. I feel like I'm actually going to step both feet into the grave. Like, I'm dying, Mom. I think I'm dying. I can see my life flashing before my eyes. Well, I said to her so many times.
Every contraction that came,
It's mad.
it felt like I was taking my last breath.
Wallahi.
It felt like that was the end. Like, I cannot go any further than this. Like, that's it, I'm done. Like, I'm going to tap out after this. My body's going to tap out, my soul's going to come out. Because I felt it was quite impossible for me to continue after that pain.
You know, people who don't have kids, who haven't had kids yet, I feel like they're going to watch this and be like, these bitches is exaggerating. But I swear to God, we're not. Like, you'll see. Like, wallahi, you'll see. And I'm not even trying to say, like, I hope you have a bad experience, because I really don't. I hope you have a great experience. But nobody can escape that pain. Nobody.
No one, man.
Nobody.
No one. Unless you want to get yourself an epidural. I'm going to campaign for that shit. Get yourself an epidural straight from the back. Trust me, you don't even want to feel the contraction for 2 seconds. Just get yourself epidural. Honestly, next time I'm going to do that, you know. Anyways.
Me, I don't think I ever will do it. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not about that life.
I'm down for the epidural, sis. I'm down for it.
Do you know why? After I had Hannah, 8 months after, my back was done out here. If I had the epidural, my back would still be done out here till today. I'm not about that life.
True.
But you had the spinal one, didn't you? You had the little one, the one that numbs you from here downwards, didn't it?
Yeah.
Neck down.
No, waist down.
Waist down. Okay, so that's the longer one.
So that, yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
You know, the only reason I didn't get it is
why?
because there's something that Hannah's Edo said, yeah, that literally put me off. She said, epidural's great, but the process of them getting in is like they go in, out with the needle, in, out, until they find the spot, and then they stop, and then they like You know, then they get, when she said they go in, out, in, out, in, out, I was like, hell to the motherfucking no. And then I've been hearing since from other people that, like, no, they don't go in, out. They just do it in, and then they basically touch your spine to find it, and then they go in once.
Yeah.
And you can't move, like, whatsoever. But it's just when she said that to me, that they go in and out, in and out, in and out, up until like 10, 15 times, that's what completely put me off. That's when I was like,
Yeah.
fuck that.
I don't think that happens to everyone, because mine feels like it was a 2-second job.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, they
Like,
say,
they'll
like,
just
don't
touch.
move, innit?
Yeah.
That's the part. Me, telling me not to move is going to make me move, or like, I'm going to end up paralyzed. I'm not about that life.
Yeah, well, so, where was I? So yeah, I had contraction from 2 till 6. I was just seeing white. I could just hear circus music. I was on that gas and air. That gas and air just took me somewhere else. Like, it was like being in pain, but you're high at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's better to be high than be sober. Like, do you know what I mean?
Way better.
When you're in pain, you might as well be high.
I miss it.
Oh, it's good stuff, yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So anyways, by the time it hit like 6 or whatever, I was done out. Like, I remember my mom telling me at one point, I was just there, and there was just one tear coming down my face. One tear. Like, I was done out. By the time it hit like 6 o'clock, I remember the nurse she checked to see if I was dilated, and she was like, "Oh, you're still only 4 centimeters." 4, I was like,
Wallah, you must have been thinking I've been through the trenches.
I tell you,
and you're only telling me 4.
from yesterday, 9 a.m. till now, only on 4 centimeters. I said to myself, like, I went through all of that for what? And I'm not even halfway through. I felt defeated. I thought I was almost there, you know. So then, after a while, she was looking at the monitor and stuff, because, you know, she could see the contractions and the baby's heart rate. And she was like, not gonna lie, we have a problem. And I was like, what is it? Well, I didn't say what is it. My mom said, what is it? I was laying there just half alive, yeah. And then she was like, the baby's heart rate's dropping every time you have a contraction. So we're gonna have to take you to the theatre to do a C-section, like ASAP. So what happens? She's wheeling me out of the door, and she's like, you can't bring the gas and air with you. I was like, what do you mean I can't bring the gas and air with me? I had the gas and air for the past how many hours? I was like, I need it because there's going to be a contraction again. And she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, we need to prep you for the C-section, and you will get the epidural. So we can't bring the gas and air into the other room. And I was like, oh my God. So wheeled me to the theatre room, and they told me to sit on this table sort of thing, like a bed table thing. I sat down. They're prepping the bed, the surgery and everything. There's like 10 doctors in the room. My mum, she can't go anywhere near me, by the way, because of the whole COVID thing. She had to sit in the back of the room. So, like, let's just say my mum had to be over there, right? She had to wear scrubs, mask, everything. She can't come anywhere near me, right? So I'm sitting on the table. My whole back is showing, right? And guess what? A contraction. Oh my God, that contraction, Nasra, that contraction. That contraction was wild. Wild. That was the first contraction after all those hours of using gas in the air. Oh. This one was fresh, like sober.
Full force.
Felt it.
100% one. Oh.
So this one, I'm sitting there, and there was a nurse standing in front of me. She was like, is there a contraction coming? I remember I was looking at my mom. I said, oh, so where's the gas in air? Where's the gas in air?
Musky.
And then the contraction came, and she was like, hold on to my shoulders, and I held on. And I don't know how hard I was holding on to her, but I was just, the whole time I was just like, like, I couldn't even breathe. Like, the contraction just takes away. Like, I can't even explain it, bro. I honestly felt like my soul was going to leave my body. Like, if I died right there and then, I wouldn't be surprised. If I met my Lord that day, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Wallahi, I completely understand where you're coming from.
Because I thought, in my mind, I kept thinking, how am I going to come back from this? So, after the contractions, after that one big fat contraction subsided, I was just sitting there, just defeated, right? The nurse is still in front of me, and then she put like a pillow in front of my belly, and she was like, okay, we're going to get ready for the epidural. And she was like, you have to stay very still, so let's get this done before the next contraction comes in. So I'm sitting there, on the table, and I'm basically hugging this pillow.
Yeah.
And then I can't even lie to you, I didn't give two shits about this fat needle that they were going to inject me with, because I thought, what's worse than the contractions? You know,
my days.
Because I know a lot of people are very, very shook of this epidural, but it's like, trust me, you're going to be going through contractions, you're not going to give a shit. Unless you have a genuine fear of needles. I'm sorry about that. But for me, it was just very like, just stop these contractions, and I don't care. Give me whatever it is. So I'm hugging this pillow, and then I felt just almost like a strong pinch.
Oh, okay.
And then the needle went in, and then when they were kind of putting in the epidural, or they were inserting whatever it is they were doing, I felt like a cold sensation trickling down my legs.
Everybody says that.
A cold sensation, and down my lower back, my bum, everything. Cold. It was like cool.
Ooh.
And it was weird because at one point, you know when you get like a reflex, my knee just went like this. 1 second, I thought, fuck. What? I moved. You know that was there. You're supposed to stay still. I went like this a little bit, and I was like, oh shit. Nothing happened. Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Was it a nice feeling?
It was, yeah, it was all right. And it was almost like, you know when you get pins and needles, small. Like my legs were kind of like, it was small vibrating, yeah. So I'm there like, this is very weird, right? So then that was done. Yeah, I didn't really give a shit. I didn't even move. I didn't flinch. Just one knee gave out. That's it, really. And then after that was done, I just had to kind of lay down and just wait for the epidural to kick in. And I'm not going to lie, within like 5 minutes, I didn't even realise I was laying there and I was waiting for the contraction to come. And they were still prepping everything for the surgery. And I'm laying there. And in my mind, I completely forgot about the epidural. I'm waiting for the contraction.
Oh my God.
It never came. And then I remember this one doctor, bless her. She came up to me. She was like, "You still waiting for that contraction?"
Oh!
I was like, wait.
How did you know?
I was like, wait. I can't feel a thing. I was like, oh my God, I've been chilling for like 10 minutes with no contraction. I didn't even clock. When I tell you, I was so happy. I can't even explain the feeling. It was weird. I was just so gassed. I was like, this feeling of not being in pain feels amazing right now. Is this how we've been living life all our lives? just out here chilling with no pain. Is this how it feels? Wallahi, we need to be more grateful.
Well, alhamdulillah, we need to be very grateful.
Wallahi, we need to be more grateful because...
Is that the block nose scenario? Like, wallahi, the block nose scenario.
Like, oh my God, like, I need to appreciate breathing, you know? So it felt like that. And then another thing about, you know, death and stuff. I know this sounds really dark, you know, but it's just reality, innit? When I was laying there, I felt like a body. Because a bunch of doctors were on one side, another bunch of doctors were on one side, and they just lifted up my body, shifted me, plopped me down somewhere else. Some of them moved me to one side. They were fixing up the sheets, and then they flopped me over to the other side, fixing up the sheets. And I can't feel anything from my waist down. It almost felt like I was just a torso, right? Everything from the waist down I couldn't feel. So I felt like a jelly, like I felt like a fish out of water, just flopping about. And I just had no control over my body. That's why I felt dead.
That's so weird. Right? I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, it was so weird. And then I'm laying there and they're prepping for the surgery, and then they put like a blue thing over me so I couldn't see anything. And I'm just looking at the ceiling, and then all of the doctors just introduced themselves. Hi, I'm Dr. this, I'm Dr. that, I'm Dr. this, I'm Dr. that. We're going to start your thing, blah, blah, blah. They were like, it's going to take us like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to the baby.
Yeah. Takes about
and
10
what
minutes.
takes longer is the stitching process.
Yeah.
So like going in, the baby can come out pretty quickly, but the stitching is going to take like another half an hour. They were like, we can wrap it all up in 45 minutes, blah, blah, blah. So let's just get started. So I'm laying there, and all I can hear is, I could just hear gadgets, which was so scary. I could hear the clicking and, okay, you pass that instrument.
Slip, 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 slip.
Oh yeah, before they started the surgery, let me just say this. Just to test that the epidural was working and that they're not just going to fucking slice me open while I can feel everything, yeah. There was one doctor that had really like ice cold water, and she was dripping it on my belly. She was like, can you feel that? And I was like, yeah. And she would go all the way up here. She was like, you can feel this? I was like, yeah. And she'll keep dripping the water until she reached like just halfway through my belly. And she'll keep dripping it until at one point I couldn't feel anything. And then she just kept dripping it down my legs. She was like, you can't feel this cold water. I said, no. I don't know, maybe she pinched me. I don't know if she scratched me up. I couldn't feel anything. And she was like, okay, you're ready. You're ready to go. I said, okay.
Oh
cool.
my goodness.
So I'm just laying there and I'm like, these lot are going to slice me up, and I'm wide awake. Like, I'm
That's
wide
so
awake.
scary.
And I'm laying there looking at the ceiling. And I just started like reading dua. I tried to because I was already so high off the gas and air. But I was like, I said my shahada, I read the Fatiha, I read all the quls. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Ya Rab, like.
Where was Hoyo? At the end of that
now.
room?
My mum's in the back of the room.
That's rude, fam.
She's in the back.
They didn't even let her hold your hand.
Normally someone's right there.
Yeah, holding your
My
hand.
mum's back there. Fam.
Ah.
So I'm there, and here's the worst bit, yeah. So they cut it open, and they probably like stretched out my belly, right? And they're trying to get to the baby now, and this is the part that fucked me up. So I'm laying there, I couldn't feel a thing. But here's the thing: once they started trying to get the baby, I could feel my body doing this. Like I could feel the tugging and everything. I'm just laying there. I'm like, oh my god! And then all of a sudden, I'm laying there, and I'm about to vomit. That's when my whole world turned upside down. I was like, wait, first of all, I'm paralyzed from my waist down. I'm laying down, I'm in the middle of a surgery, and I'm gonna vomit. I can't, it's not like I could get up and do that. I can't do that, fam. So I'm like, and they can't hear me because they're all chattering and trying to do whatever it is. So I'm like, hello, excuse me. I feel like we're gonna be sick. But I'm like whispering. I couldn't even get the words out, and I started panicking because it felt like they were literally turning my stomach for me. You know that feeling when your stomach turns?
Did you actually be sick?
It actually felt like they were turning my stomach. So I was like, I'm gonna vomit. And luckily this guy finally was able to see that I'm trying to like speak to them. And he was like, is everything all right, love? Like his face was there. And I'm like, I feel like I'm gonna be sick. Is this normal? And he was like, yeah, it's very, very normal. I'll give you some anti-nausea medication. So like he grabbed my cannula and he put something in there. But while he was doing that, I said, get me a bucket, get me something. Like it's gonna I'm gonna vomit, right? So he ran and grabbed like a little bucket thing, put it beside my head. So I pretty much went like something came out while I'm laying down. Have you ever vomited while you were laying down?
I have actually.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because obviously, you know, the gas and egg got me feeling really sick, innit?
Yeah.
I was laying down and I was like in the like giving birth position, and I was like into the little grey thing.
Little grey thing, yeah.
It was horrible, man.
And it just smells like cardboard, isn't it?
I hate that smell. I hate that.
It's so clapped. Give me a nice.
I hate that smell.
Give me a nice looking bowl. I hate the look
Do you
of
know
that
what
thing.
that cardboard thing reminds me of? The thing that people pee in.
It's the same thing, no?
You're
What is
joking.
it? Commode. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
No
No way.
I think so.
It cannot be.
I think so.
It cannot be.
Anyways, I'm there like after like 5 minutes.
Sawiya. My
Alhamdulillah.
stomach, it feels like it's gonna actually vomit.
Alhamdulillah, after like 5 minutes, the anti-nausea meds kicked in. I was fine after that. I don't know what it was that I vomited out because I wasn't eating all night. So it was like, what do they call it? Bile? Like there's nothing there, but there's something there at the same time. Like,
What
it's
is
not
it called in
actually
Somali?
food. It's like sticky saliva, just
Yeah.
lumps of sticky saliva, whatever the hell that was. So after that, here's the fucked up thing as well. There's another fucked up thing that happened. I didn't know when Jenna came out on me. I didn't hear her cry. She didn't cry for like a good minute. They just took her out. They realized that she wasn't crying, and they ran to the side of the room where they clean her off and maybe put oxygen or do something. Or something was going on, and I had no idea. I'm just laying there, and I can hear my mum chattering with the nurse, like talking to the nurses, asking questions, right? And then no one said anything like, hey Sawiya, your baby's here, none of that. And I feel like maybe it's because they didn't want me to panic.
She didn't cry?
She didn't cry. I didn't even know she was out.
No.
Yeah. So
she didn't cry.
She didn't cry for like 30 seconds to a minute. She didn't cry. Quiet, nothing. So my mum was getting a bit like worried, right? No one said anything to me. They're just doing their own thing. And I'm still just there, I had no clue. Until I heard her crying faintly from over there. And I'm laying there and I'm like, what, is she out? And then that's when they were like, yes, congrats, your baby's out. Like, it's a girl for sure. I was like, oh.
What were they doing, cleaning her?
No, they were like, I feel like they wanted to make sure that she was good before they told me.
Okay.
Because as soon as they took her out, she had the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck 3 times, bruv. And that could have been why my labour wasn't progressing and why I was only 4 centimetres dilated and why her heart rate dropped every time I contracted. Because when you contract, what happens? And she can't, it's not like she can go down the birth canal. Like, she's trapped, right? She's got the fucking... Anyways... Finally,
That's scary.
They wrapped her up and they put her right here, and I'm just there, and I'm just like, rah. Like, she had like grey stuff all over her, like her whole body.
Was she born with the grey stuff? Do you know what
White,
that is?
White and grey.
Do you know what that is? That stuff is like magic.
Really?
Do you know what it is? You're supposed to rub it into their skin.
I didn't even know that.
It's a
that was on her for time after that.
Yeah.
Like, there was bits of grey stuff like in her
Do
hair.
you know what people do with that grey stuff? They take it off the babies and they like rub it into their wrinkles and shit. Apparently it's like what is the word? Like, you know, like pure collagen that like makes your skin like, you know, but it's like the baby form.
The natural form.
The natural form. But it's not collagen. It's like something else. I don't know what the word is, but it's like basically it protects their skin and it adds like a barrier to their skin to like protect it from the outside world. But while they're inside the womb. Some babies are born with a lot of it and some babies are born with not a lot of it. So Hannah barely had any. Hannah just had like a little bit like on the top of her head.
She was completely covered.
Yo, that's mad.
Completely covered.
But also
she
maybe
was
because
tiny.
Do you know what as well? Maybe because she didn't come out of the birth canal. I think coming out of the birth canal wipes bare of it off.
Yeah.
Like it coming through in it, like it gets wiped off.
All the fluid and everything that comes out, like they pretty much get washed in your blood and everything. But with the C-section, it's like they just take her out, you know, and then everything else just kind of gets drained out or whatever. So when I finally saw her, I was just like, yeah, mad. I don't know. I felt nothing.
Do you know when you looked at her, did you think like, oh, this is what I expected you to look like? Or did you think like, oh my God.
She looked just like her dad when she came out.
Way.
I said, what? You better not keep this up, man. Like, things better change. And then she slowly moulded into me as she grew up a little bit. But when she was
she's your twin now. I saw a picture of her the other day and I was like, Sawiya. I was like, that's Sawiya. That looks just like Sawiya. She did your smile, your eyebrows, everything, your little facial expressions. I was like, oh
literally,
my God.
Like, she's even got like a dimple. She's got one dimple. I was like, you are literally me.
Oh.
So I was just laying there and then they did the they did the stitching.
Yeah.
And that took longer than getting the baby. So the whole thing was wrapped up by like within like 45 minutes. And then they wheeled me off to the recovery room. And yeah, that was it really.
That's mad.
That was it. And for like, I don't know for how long, but I couldn't eat for like 2 hours. And I was starving. I just wanted a cup of tea. But they were like, you need to wait a little bit before you can eat because you just, did surgery in your stomach.
They were just fiddling with your insides.
Yeah,
they were like playing piano with your insides, like wiggling everything about.
They were doing up.
Oh, I hope they put everything back in the right place.
Oh, we're going to talk about the recovery afterwards because I genuinely believe that maybe because it was an emergency C-section, that they mishandled me differently because the pain that I was in after that surgery I 100% believe, 100% in my, like, I just know for a fact that I would take the contractions over that any day. The recovery from the C-section was like, I was in agony 24 hours for 2 weeks until I felt normal on the 14th day.
Did they give you strong painkillers?
Yeah, I had to take painkillers. I had to inject myself as well to avoid like blood clots.
Oh.
I had to take iron tablets and blood pressure tablets and like I had to take a lot of shit. But like when I got wheeled to the recovery room straight after the surgery, I was shaking like mad. Did you shake?
No, apparently that's only for people that really have the epidural. They get the shakes and they just like end up just like.
I was shaking. My husband says the same thing. My sister, like every time they see, because I've got a video. Every time they see that video, they can't watch it. They get uncomfortable. Like it's scary to them.
Like a crackhead.
I'm in the bed like this.
Oh my days! And you don't know that it's involuntary.
My body's just shaking, and my mum just kept saying, "Are you cold?"
I'm scared.
You're right. Yeah, I'm alright. Can I get a cup of tea or something? I'm kind of hungry.
Like a cracker.
Can I get some breakfast around here? When I tell you,
You're kidding me. No, I didn't get none of that. Wallahi. For
it
me,
was wild. And you know what?
mm-mm.
I'm gonna do a post on Instagram about it, and I'll probably add that video in just so
No,
you can see.
should.
I want you guys to see. I want you guys to see how it's like. But that was my labour story. An emergency C-section that I did not see coming.
You know what though? I think in some cases they do pressure. They pressure the women, the mothers, who are already in like a bit of a tough spot regarding their labour. They do pressure them a little bit to have a C-section. But I think in your case it was most definitely warranted.
Oh, 100%. I'm not mad that I had it.
Warranted, wallahi.
Wallahi, I'm not mad that I had it because she said that baby's heart rate is dropping. She didn't even ask me, do you want a C-section? She goes, your baby's heart rate is dropping.
Yeah.
We're going to take this baby out because we can't continue making you go through all these contractions and it's literally hurting the baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And guess what? She literally had the umbilical cord wrapped on her how many times? So it was worth it in the end. You get what I'm saying? And
definitely warranted.
A lot of people seem to think just because I had a C-section, I didn't go through any pain. Nah, I still went through the contractions. You know, I didn't ask for it. It wasn't scheduled.
Mm.
It was just a last-minute surgery. So I had a bit of both. The only thing I didn't do is the pushing and the ring of fire.
Do you know what I hated? I hated that before when I was like, you know, coming up towards the due date. Like, aunties would be like, make sure you don't have a C-section. Make sure you don't have a C-section. Like, how can I make sure that I don't have a... Do I even know what's going to happen? Like,
it's so
you went into it not knowing what was going to happen. The same thing could have happened to me. The only reason that it didn't is because they didn't tell me Hannah's heart rate was dropping. The same thing would have happened to me if Hannah's heart rate was dropping. Can't even find my words.
And for me, like, the way you give birth doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't.
What matters is doing what's safe for you and the baby.
100%.
At the end of the day. Like,
100%.
if it comes to, like, if it's life or death situation,
Who gives a fuck?
Do whatever it is that you need to do to get this baby out.
Wallahi.
Who gives a fuck?
Life or death situation, who gives a fuck? And you know, there's people that say stuff like, oh, you know, oh, you had a C-section. You haven't really experienced birth. Fuck off.
Oh, I got that a few times still. Oh,
Just
you had a C-section.
Fuck off.
Oh, you're lucky. Someone actually said, oh, you had a C-section. Oh, you're lucky you didn't experience the contractions. I said, what? I experienced the contractions, miss.
Honestly,
people assumed it's like I scheduled it. So, like, I went into the hospital and then I didn't have any contractions and they just took the baby out. That's what they think. But there's a thing called scheduled C-section and an emergency C-section. And a woman can go through contractions for 24 hours, for 2 days, and still end up having a C-section.
Yep.
That's how it is.
And regardless whether you schedule it or whether you don't schedule it, whether it's emergency, whether it's natural, whether it's whatever, vaginal birth after C-section, doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you went through 9 months to carry this baby and you've given birth to this baby. Regardless of which way it comes out, you've done your job and you've done something miraculous. So I think people just need to shut the fuck up.
Respectfully.
With a smile. Respectfully.
Should we call it a day?
Let's call it a day.
Peace out, guys. Thank you
for watching. We hope you've enjoyed our stories. We would love to hear your stories. You can message us. You can, you know.
Honestly, if you want to come down and join us and, you know, share your story with us, that we'd be more than happy to have guests on. I feel like now we've opened the door to having guests in. We've talked about our experiences. Now we've wrapped up the labour. We might have to talk about recovery a little bit and like postpartum. That's a big one.
Oh yes.
But yeah, we're more than happy to have people come in and like chat with us as well. So
come through. We would love to know your experiences because everybody's birth is different and everybody's birth is beautiful. So come through, tell us your stories, and if you end up making me cry, bonus points to you because I'm a crybaby.
It takes a lot for me to cry, you know.
I cry a lot.
It means you have a good
I
heart.
nearly cried
You're soft.
earlier on, remember? I nearly cried earlier on. But we fanned that shit away. We quickly fanned.
Yep.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, share our videos. We would love that.
Yep.
Peace out.
Peace out.